Dancehall artist Vybz Kartel, whose given name is Adeja Palmer, remains in police custody this evening. He was arrested before daybreak this morning after police raided a New Kingston hotel and allegedly found a quantity of ganja. But in a move that could indicate that the police have
not guilty. As to count 4, we find the defendant not guilty. So
welcome back to another installment of Speak Your Mind, and that we're going to do today. Alright, so today's topic is about Vybz Kartel appeal. Alright, so the final verdict for Vybz Kartel appeal will be announced tomorrow in the Privy Council. So whether or not he is guilty, not guilty, or he would get a retrial. Alright, so the Vybz Kartel, the Gaza boss, dancehall icon, I honestly think he might be released tomorrow. You know, one of his recent posts is he posts up himself with the background music playing, "I'm ready." You get me on say? And Grand Rising, Gaza Nation being the caption. So no, I definitely know say yo, once him can post that, him obviously I think say he's coming back to life, he's coming back to reality. You get me on say? And all of the fans are so nervous and anxious to find out what's gonna be the final verdict of Vybz Kartel appeal. Alright, so we're gonna start our way back from the first time Vybz Kartel was arrested, you know, probably about 13 years ago. You know, remember the first time Vybz Kartel was arrested, he was arrested for weed. So how does a weed charge lead to a murder verdict? How does a weed charge lead to he being a suspect, or he being affiliated with more than one murder? You get me on say? So in recent interviews, DPP Paula have make alright, so things got really cleared when Bert Samuels did a recent interview stating that DPP Paula was the person that told the judge to continue the trial with a juror that was bribing other jurors for a not guilty verdict. So that was the first sign of corruption, you know.
Well, I said I have no divine powers, so maybe that's my answer, if he's guilty or not. For example, on the question of retrial, we're going to have a huge issue, because you know that the voice notes have been fair. That you can't do that. It tells prosecutors coming, you can't encourage the judge to continue with the case. That's what happened. The DPP herself went into the judge's chambers and encouraged him to continue with the case, although there was clear evidence that one of the members was seeking to bribe the others. And since then, that person has been convicted. He has been convicted. That's how alarming it is.
The first sign, and imagine you're a director of prosecution and you are allowing that. What does that shows you? That definitely shows that there's no justice. That goes to show that there's no justice being served. There's no justice being served. If the director of the prosecution can say to the judge that continue the case with someone in the juror saying bribing the other jurors for a not guilty verdict, how is that fair? And from the get-go, we all know that they didn't want this to be a fair trial, you know, because I think that Vybz Kartel is a target to the Jamaica Justice Force, or the Jamaica government, whatever the case may be. He has always been a target. So once you can get somebody that is a target and you finally can let them behind bars or hold on to them for a charge that they
are being fair. I have found very often in terms of the feedback coming through the police or even coming through their attorneys, it's not that you will like the fact that you have been successfully convicted, but at the heart of it, what the concern very often is that the process
you have no proof of, and then put other charges on him, then the system basically has sink him. You get me on that? So that was the first red flag that was brought forward in Vybz Kartel case. But that goes to show that it has nothing to do with who is guilty or not guilty. It just goes to show that whether or not that person wants you behind bars, they can Then basically I say, oh, we run things. Things are run we. That's basically what you're saying. You get me what I'm saying? That's like you being at school and it's time to leave and the teacher says, no, you're not leaving till I say you're leaving. You know, I just want them case there. You know? And it's clear to we that, as I say, Bert Samuels, it's not like Bert Samuels, the fact that Bert Samuels is representing them, he's gonna say that, oh, I want him to win. But I can see from his point of view that he's a lawyer. Basically, you're gonna want justice if you're a lawyer. You know? And that's the only reason why he took the case. Just for justice. You get me what I'm saying? So if there's no justice, definitely gonna come forward and say that happened and that happened. You get me? So that was the first red flag in this case. So if that is the case, why do we have judges though? Why do we have judges? Why do we have jurors? Is it that it's just a sham, it's just a playoff, it's just a face? You get me? What I'm saying? Is it just that? Because if they have no use for jurors or judges, why do we have them? You get me? I say, kind of idea. Me honestly think that it was a case where the jurors, everything was brought before the court. The jurors make a decision. The judge think whether or not he liked the decision, and then he say whether or not it's a guilty verdict or not guilty verdict. I honestly didn't know that it was the director of the prosecution should decide whether or not, even if there was lack of evidence, even if there was evidence or not. I honestly didn't know that the director of the prosecution was the one that give the final answer or give the final statement whether or not that person should be guilty or not. And the only reason why Vybz Kartel was going to the highest counter, the Privy Council, is because you know that he wasn't guilty in the trial. You get me what I'm saying? You know that there wasn't enough evidence to prove that he was guilty or not. Sorry, that he was guilty. You get me what I'm saying? And the Privy Council basically exposed the corrupt system of Jamaicans. You get me what I'm saying? And we as Jamaicans know that the system is already corrupt. You get me what I'm saying? So we looking in, know that the system is corrupt, but people on the outside looking in say, oh, it's just a fair trial. You get what I'm saying? So the story is getting really sticky and sticky by the moment, you know. As I say, it's a high case, you know. It's a case that has been going on quite a while now, and the people just want justice, yo. You get me what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we have two ways to look on this case. Majority of the people's, you know, we have 60% that say, oh, they want Vybz Kartel to be free because he's not guilty. The next 40% that say, oh, Vybz Kartel is guilty, Vybz Kartel is a gangster, Vybz Kartel is a bad man. And I've seen this in all of my videos regarding to Vybz Kartel murder trial. If Vybz Kartel is a gangster and Clive Lizard Williams was a gangster, or still is a gangster if he's alive or not, and he's a part of Vybz Kartel gang, and the fact that he can have a gun missing up, that simple means that he was affiliated with the gang. He was a gunman. That simple meaning, you know. And if you're a gangster, they always have two things to say about it. If you're a gangster, you're gonna end up behind bars or you're gonna end up under the ground. You get me what I'm saying? I'm not saying Vybz Kartel has the right to kill a man for missing his shoes. Like, cause if they're going to house and don't see his shoes, I think that person a bit, bro. You get me? But all I'm saying is he was affiliated with Vybz Kartel. He was a part of Vybz Kartel gang. He was a part of Vybz Kartel organization. You get me? What I'm saying? You know, and if Vybz Kartel himself can say, oh, they're out to get him. You get me? What I'm saying? Because of his influence on people. You know, the Vybz Kartel himself has said that he know what going. If DPP Paula, the director of the prosecution, can say that, because if you listen to her interviews, you know, she literally has said in a way where it's not direct, but she is saying it. You get me? What I'm saying? So never really listen to them things there. You get me? What I'm saying? That's like, this is like the Klansman gang, bro. 400 murders are linked with the Klansman gang. 400 murders from 2014 are linked with the Klansman gang. And we're in 2023, and you're telling me that nobody knows no whereabouts of these so-called gangsters, bro. Yo, you're telling me nobody know the whereabouts of these so-called gangsters till up to this day when they finally hold on them? You get me as I say? So the system is really corrupt. You get me as I say? I think the police force, the JDF, the Prime Minister, I think them know. They basically run the country. So there's no way I can run a country and I'm looking for a particular suspect and I cannot find him. You get me? I say they know where they are, bro. They know where they are. You get me? So if they want them, they can go for them. So the system is really corrupt, and it's been a case where Vybz Kartel has fallen a victim to it. You know, he himself know that he was a target. DPP Paul, the director, said that he was a target. Samuel Burt also said that he was a target. Isaac Buckingham also said that he was on target. You get me? So everybody know this, especially in the force, especially in certain big organization where these meetings are being kept. You know me? You get me?